That's
Cruises, thanks for joining in. We back with this triple header, draft night exclusive. I got Sim in the panel. I got Steph in the panel. Yo, Black, it's time. Let's continue this discussion.
yeah. Let's
That's,
continue it, man. I don't know. I think
I don't know.
before we came over here, Steph was saying something. Steph and Josh was saying something about Derrick Rose. Um, according to the New York Post, Derrick Rose and the Knicks are likely to work out a deal.
Okay, well
Okay.
that is good news. Again, I'm not mad with running it back.
But we got to
I
upgrade too.
yeah, I do want upgrades somewhere along the line. Even if it's just that Colin Sexton move in replacement of Alfred Payton, I think that ultimately becomes a better team. Um, you know, I wouldn't mind Bullock back, but if we could upgrade somewhere with a 3-and-D guy, or even a DeRozan, I think what we lose in 3-point shooting, he still averaged more points, more points than Bullock, but without that 3-point threat. The defense shouldn't be a big drop off, and then what we would gain in getting a Colin Sexton, I think ultimately that becomes a better team, and that's all I ever asked. Let's upgrade. Let's run it back. Let's upgrade. I just don't want to move backwards. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I would really have liked Bullock over Burke though, but it is what it is.
Can I ask a
I just
question?
think.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Tom.
Of course.
No, I'm sorry. I was.
No, I was just gonna say I think Burke showed more value in the playoffs than Bullock did.
Tone, let me ask you a question. By running it back, if you're comfortable with the Knicks running it back, and you said you don't want to take a step backwards, do you believe with the rest of the teams in the Eastern Conference, like Miami, Chicago, perhaps Boston, we don't know what Boston's going to do yet, but let's just say Miami and Chicago getting better, right? And us staying put, do you feel like that's a step backwards or is it more of the same? Because to me, that feels like a step backward. Getting outbid.
Outbid for whom?
I'm saying
not upgrading. You saying
not upgrading, staying the course, whatever the Knicks are doing, bringing back Burks and Noel and whoever else we bring back from last season, and not truly bringing someone substantial to upgrade the roster while you have teams like Miami getting better and Chicago getting better. Do you feel like that's a step backwards or that's more of the same? To me, it feels like a step backwards.
Well, in my scenario, we got to get Sexton. We have to get Sexton. Because that will be an upgrade if we bring everybody back, including Burks, including Bullock. If we get Sexton replacing Payton, we bring Rose back. I think, and our draft picks that we acquired, or I'm sorry, the guys we drafted, I think that's an upgrade. So I mean, at this point, we're looking at who's replacing Bullock, who's replacing Alfred Payton. So depending on where we go with those two positions, as long as it's a upgrade in the play, it's an upgrade for the team. Yes,
It's an upgrade, but I still think the other teams are better. You put Lowry on Miami, Miami is better than us.
Top three seed.
Yeah,
I agree. I think for the most of the year, people thought Miami was better than us anyway. I argued I wanted Miami in the playoffs. I don't know if I would still say I want them with the addition of Lowry, but I really last year I felt like we could have beat Miami. That team. Did they get better? Yes. Are other teams getting better? Yes. But one of the things that with us running it back for the most part is the camaraderie, the familiarity. We can grow from what we did last year. A lot of these other teams are going to have to make adjustments, upgrade. I think we stay in the course. I think we're not in a bad situation.
I think we are. I mean, now I will say I get what the Knicks are doing because those players are just not out there. I'm not paying the money that was paid out to Chris Paul and Lowry and all of those guys. I'm not paying them that. But I'm not going to still sit here and say that we upgraded this roster. And I think, chemistry counts for something, but talent counts for something as well. And I think that if we don't make some moves, we may not even we might be in the play-in.
I mean, I felt like there was a chance we could have been, a couple of games fall differently. We could have been in the play-in last year. We overachieved. I'm banking on Tom Thibodeau and this coaching staff getting the most from the guys we got. And I think, again, bringing Sexton in, that's a good starting point. I don't want to dwell on that because it hasn't been done. It hasn't been announced.
It might not get done. From what I'm hearing, they're asking for a lot.
It might not. But I agree. We have to do something. Even if we bring Bullock back, we still need to find a point guard. So I think
that's done. He gets signed with the Mavericks.
Bullock?
Yep.
Okay. Well, now we scratch him off the list. and we got to upgrade from him. We got to upgrade from Peyton. We know what we need. I guess what we could do right now is maybe focus on the small forward and the guard position and see who's out there. But it's not going to be hard to upgrade from Peyton, regardless of who we bring in. So
I just want to say two things, Tony. We spent $20 million of our cap space, $20 million that we spent out of the 53, and we still haven't addressed the wing, and we still haven't addressed the point guard. That's number one. Number two, I agree with half of what Steph was saying as far as, but the biggest thing that I disagree with as far as you don't want to pay people like Chris Paul the money, you don't want to pay these other guys the money. To me, they're worth it. I think the Knicks team from last year is better than the Phoenix team from the previous year. And what did they do? They went out, they added Chris Paul, and they got them to the NBA Finals. Now, we can argue semantics about, if that didn't happen, they never would have went to the finals. But again, you pay the money, and Chris Paul, from what his contract was, he delivered them to the NBA Finals. So to me, I just feel like we gotta spend the money and not have cold feet. And I'm not saying the front office is doing that.
Right.
It just feels like to me, a lot of the fans, they complain about the whole season. We don't have talent. But yet at the same time, they don't want to spend the money.
Right. But Josh, Phoenix had a better roster than us when they signed Chris Paul.
No,
No. I'm talking about right now. We got 6 players. Bringing in Chris Paul we don't have that team last year. It's not like we have those guys under contract and we're bringing Chris Paul in to add to them. We have 6 players. So if you want to argue that we would need to bring back Burke, bring back Bullock, bring back that team and add Chris Paul, maybe. But we only have 6 players. So putting Chris Paul on this team with 6 players at 40, you can't be reckless. I'm not saying he's not worth $30 million.
It's 4 years, 120. So that's $30 million. Right. That's $30 million per year.
Okay. And he's 26.
36.
One of the things I would rather not do is start playing somebody when they're 38, 39, 40, and they tying up our cap and they're not contributing. Because he's going to give us a year or 2 on the front end of the contract. That's a lot.
Yeah, we just agree to disagree on that point. To me, I feel like Chris Paul is still one of the best point guards in the NBA, and I think for at least the next 2 to 3 seasons, Chris Paul will be a high-level contributor. We've seen what he did with Phoenix. I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
At 39.
Yeah, Steph. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you rolling the dice. I'm not willing to roll the dice that he'll be the same at 39.
Let me ask this, and let me say this. Because Paul's gone. I mean, he's off the board. Who's left out there? Are we would be happy with DeRozan and the Sexton trade?
I would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's still some options out there. Who's left in free agency that we don't feel the same about Fournier and Sexton?
And I wouldn't be mad with Schroeder either.
Schroeder and
I don't know if we even have enough now to get Schroeder. And so I agree with Josh in this sense. If we would have addressed the 1 and the 3 up front, and then with the money we have left, try to then get a backup center or a bench, a bench wing. You putting that money up front, that kind of hamstrings you. Like, you can't sign Sexton and DeRozan. I mean, not Sexton. I'm sorry, Schroeder and DeRozan. Now,
No,
exactly. It feels like the Knicks are building from the outside in instead of the inside out, so to speak. Instead of building around, they go out and get someone and then build pieces to put around them. It seems like they're building these role players, and then hopefully they find a little niche where they can be able to get a big guy. I just think it needs to be the other way around. To me, that's just the way I feel.
Right. I agree.
And
if they're using them for a sign and trade, I am not mad. I'm really hoping that's the case.
Yeah.
Hot Tep Rail says there's no A+ star in free agency. We are fine. That was his super chat. I mean, I agree there is no A+ guy. But I agree with you guys too. We still got to upgrade. I mean, that's all I cared about from the beginning. As long as we are switching out one player for a better one, I think we could at least stay the course and potentially grow as a team. You got to think, we did what we did last year on a humble. You know what I mean? The team was kind of really just put together. We had about the same amount of free agents coming in, 4 or 5 of them coming in new from last year into last year. Randall had this growth spurt, if you will, in his development. If we get the same type of growth from another player like RJ, where's that going to bring us? That'll bring us a lot further than we was. I expect this team to grow, so I'm not mad with us, staying the course and just building that camaraderie, especially if we didn't miss out on somebody. It hasn't been that report. The Knicks reached out to this guy and he wasn't interested. All we're really hearing is, a few guys are interested, and there's mutual interest. That's a change in the right direction in itself.
Again, I would have liked them to have signed them guys later and use that money up front to upgrade the roster. You can always find a backup center. You know what I mean?
For less than $10 million at that.
Right. And just because they had chemistry last year doesn't mean the chemistry is going to be, is going to be the same. It could have been that we caught lightning in a bottle,
Can I get an example of a center we would have got? Let me pull up this. Any. I mean, there's a few that I wanted. Like I don't know if Howard. I don't know if we would have got Howard for under 10, but
I think so.
We probably would have got JaVale, but at this point, it would have been a waiting game. We would have had to wait and see.
You could have got Robin Lopez for under 6. They're backups. Like how many minutes do you expect them to play? You could have got Daniel Tice for under 10.
But we weren't going to get the defensive output that
you could have got Bismarck Biyombo for under 10. You could have got Hassan Whiteside for under 10. You just looking. What are you looking for in your backup point guard, in your backup center? Just hold it down for the few minutes until Mitch comes back.
He did more than a few minutes though.
Okay.
He held it down on 2 consecutive stretches of injuries where both times we was on the same channel. You know what I mean? Talking about, yo, what are we gonna do? I don't know if Noel's is gonna be enough. I don't know if Noel's can.
So you're saying when you're talking about paying him for what he did, I'm saying, could they have been somebody else on the market that we could have saved a little money and got similar production? And by that mean, just hold it down till Mitch comes back in the game. Maybe it's even a different type of player. Maybe that player is not a rim protector. Maybe that player, when they come in, they give us a little something different than Mitch.
I agree that is possible, but I like the fact of we saw what he did, and I think he surprised each and every one of us. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
He surprised me too, but not enough to re-sign him. He got bad hands and he doesn't rebound well. I just think he's replaceable. I would not have spent $10 million on Noel. That's just me.
Not coming off the bench to give us no offensive production. Yeah, just to me. But
I mean,
hey.
But it is what it is right now. I mean, listen, they could still be used in a sign and trade. Hopefully that's the case.
Do you think a better point guard maybe helps his production, or do you think his hands are really just that bad? I mean, because it could be
that bad.
It could be, yeah. But I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like, I would have preferred maybe a little less, sure, but I don't think it was a reach. I wouldn't put it like out of his range of what he probably could have got from another team.
But let the other team pay him.
I hear you. I definitely hear you on that. Like, I got no issue if that's what your your gripe is. But I mean, what we have left right now, 36. I mean, we had 50.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, so 20 of it is gone.
So 34 million for two positions, pretty much, right? Two positions of need,
right?
So if we're splitting that two ways, you're talking about 17 million a year for both players.
Say that again.
If we're splitting that two ways, we're talking about 17 million at the wing, 17 at the point.
Right.
Do you have a list of who's left?
For the point guard, sure. Let me look that up.
And while you're doing that, Tony, if you don't mind, I'll give a couple of updates, and we also have some people trying to call in if you want to take a phone call.
Oh, absolutely.
According to Woj, Furkan Korkmaz, he's agreed to a 3-year, $15 million deal to stay with the 76ers. Gary Trent Jr., he's agreed to a 3-year, $54 million deal to return to the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
And I think that is more of the trend of what's going on this free agency. Guys just coming back for the most part. Obviously the DeRozan and I mean not DeRozan, Laurie and a few other guys are here that that are on the move, but I think for the most part, guys are just coming back to the the team they were on. But is there someone on the line already?
Let me get it. Call you live on Knicks and Bruises. What's going on with you? What's popping?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Salute.
So, all right. So, the first thing that I saw today, I wasn't shocked because, I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. So, when I saw the Evan Fournier, I saw he initially wanted $20 million. We gave him $18 million. I mean, honestly, I feel like he's like a glorified Reggie Bullock or Alec Burks, and I don't know why you would pay that man that much money. So I mean that move off the bat really upset me because I was looking to get guys. I was hoping that the Knicks targeted guys like Gary Trent Jr., Kelly Oubre, Daniel Tice, Devontae Graham, maybe even Lonzo, even guys like a Boogie Cousins, like to come off, like they waived Norvell Powell, and then they re-signed Noel, and then they re-signed Elfrid Payton. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I think they re-signed Elfrid, Rose, and Burks. I don't know if Rose is legit, but actually, I was watching another broadcast, and there was a guy who had some pretty legitimate proof, take it with a grain of salt, but he said that the Knicks will be looking to sign Dennis Schroeder and re-sign Rose. Derrick Rose will be back. The guy said that's a fact. So that's everything I wanted to tell you guys. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it, and go Knicks.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
He sound like he's
brother.
dealing with some Knicks and bruises. I mean, I knew it was gonna be a tough off season, tough free agency.
And I think with Dennis Schroeder, we've been talking about him all night. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a guy who I felt was going to be, and we don't know if it's a done deal or not, but felt like he was going to be a piece of the Knicks' future. I got another phone call here if you want to get to it.
Yes, sir. You're live with Knicks and Bruises.
No, a piece of the Knicks future. I got another phone call.
There you go, Tony.
Yes, sir.
Hello. You're live on Knicks and Bruises.
Oh, hey, y'all. So, Steph, thank you for being a voice of wisdom, because a lot of people are jumping off the ledge and they really need to take a step back. Because at the end of the day, there's no way on God's green earth I'm giving Chris Paul $120 million for 30. The man's going to have a gray hair by the time he's done. And I think that I don't think Mitch is ready to go. And I think what this was a move to try to get something that the devil that you know versus the devil that you don't know. Now, I'm not a fan of Noel's contract, but so be it. I don't know what people want. You are not going to get some of these guys, and you have to look at it this way. We're an analytics-run team now. We're basically with Brock Aller at the helm. And he's looking at value to, I hate to say it, it's the truth, Josh. I saw you. It's the God's honest truth. Brock Aller runs this thing differently. And you can see by the moves on draft night, you can see by the moves he's making. We may not like it, but he has a value to talent ratio. Now, I do believe sometimes you have to forego money for talent, but it depends on who that is. Duncan Robinson, God bless you. I can't give you that money because that move isn't going to take you over the top. And, some guys, they don't want to come. They don't want to come. And I think there's more to be made, but we have to take a step back and say to ourselves, all right, look, people want Kawhi and all this stuff. Kawhi's not leaving. He's going to re-sign his contract. There's certain people. I'm not giving 20.5 to DeRozan. I don't need that right now. That's going to suck up half your cap, and you still got to fill out the roster. So we need to take a step back and then let the week play out before we start slandering. I know, Josh, you don't like to hear it because you're like, well, hey, but that's the God's honest truth. You can go out there and do certain things that may not necessarily work. The Heat have blown money on Lowry. They've blown money on Butler or what have you. They may not necessarily be able to fill out their roster the right way, and they committed long-term dollars. And it's the same argument I had with Atlanta last year. They got far, but they're going to have to pay the piper because now they're like, John Collins, we can't give you what you want because we got Bogdan. We got Herter to think about.
I mean, those guys are under contract. I like the situation they're in just because they fit well. I'm hoping we could.
But they may not be able to sign Collins, though.
I mean, they can if they want to. They can if they want to. That's what it all boils down to. Like, it's certain teams or any team can go over if they want to. You know what I mean? When it's their guy.
Is the caller still there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Josh has something.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How come teams like Boston, teams like the Lakers, teams like Miami, how come they're able to be capped out the entire time and they're able to make the playoffs every single year while still improving every single year? And the Clippers, how come they're able to make the playoffs every single year yet being capped out?
Because they were able to get that one dude.
Really?
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear the end of it. But in my opinion, if you're able to catch the one guy, so you got LeBron. Okay, I get AD. I got the cap. Now I can go out and I get Westbrook. The Lakers have $120 million tied up in 3 guys. They're gonna have to run vet men guys with a guy that's always hurt and a guy that's always that's getting old. And another body that can't shoot. There's no guarantee the Lakers are gonna get far.
Right, but they're in contention for a championship, though. You would agree, right?
I agree with that. They could. Yes, I would agree with that. But at the end of the day, the Miami Heat went out and got Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler, now they got to the championship. They didn't get anywhere last year. Now they just gave him a max contract, right?
Okay, so you agree players like that get you closer to a championship?
I would agree with that. But I'm just all I'm thinking is the Knicks are probably trying to keep their powder dry to make that trade for the one guy they can bring in, and then they can build around it if they can do it. That's my only guess, is that's what they're attempting to do. Is trying to keep powder dry, not tie up too much money in long-term deals or something like that. That's my only guess. And why they're not going out there saying, you know, we're just going to drop $90 million on you. Maybe you're not even worth it. That's all I can come up with.
Yeah, but I'm not asking the Knicks to just spend money just to spend money. That's not what I'm asking them to do. What I'm asking them to do is, while other teams in the Eastern Conference are getting better, they're able to somehow maximize their cap space and get to the playoffs every single year and get far in the playoffs every single year. I want the Knicks to be more aggressive. That's all I'm asking them to do. And what happened last year, I get is an admiration. The team, you know, supposedly didn't have enough talent or whatever, and they were able to exceed expectations. But at the same time, you have to be aggressive while other teams, particularly in your conference and in your division, are getting better. It's a race. It's an arms race, so to speak.
I agree.
I think both of you guys
Who
are
do you want
right.
them to sign, Josh?
But if you look at Boston, you're right. They've been in the playoffs every year. They improved every year, but they haven't improved enough. You know what I mean? They haven't won a chip.
Yeah, but again, a championship is not guaranteed. I know that the Knicks probably won't win a championship or whatever the case may be. I'm not asking the Knicks to go out and sign players to guarantee you a championship. That's not what I'm saying. I want the Knicks to be aggressive and put themselves in a position so that, you know, when things happen like what happened last season, when Brooklyn has these injuries and, you know, calls go certain ways, that they can be in that position. That's what I'm saying, because no championship is guaranteed. If you look at it that way.
I don't think we're far removed from that. Real quick, I just want to shout out FAR from the chat. He says, can the Knicks get Brunson in a sign-and trade for Bullock? And my question is, what do you guys think of that? Because I definitely I jump on that move.
Bullock's already off the board.
Right. He signed a qualifying offer of $1.8 million. I think they're gonna extend him. Perhaps if he declines the extension, then they may look to trade him. I don't know if they're looking to trade him right now.
Okay.
And you know, Brunson is also not signed yet, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with him.
He signed the qualifying offer.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as I said before, you know, as long as it's a catch-22, because in years past, we would have gone out there, signed certain dudes, and it would have been like, what are you guys doing? Now we don't sign certain dudes. It's kind of, what are you guys doing? I think the Knicks are trying to play a little bit of money ball. But at some point, yes, Josh, you're right. They do got to pay the piper a little bit and go bring in some talent. I do agree with that. You know,
I agree too.
And I just look at last season as an example. The Knicks couldn't spend all the money. They had so much money, they couldn't even spend all of it. They couldn't even hit the salary, floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at the trade deadline, you don't want to make any moves like to save cap space. Who are we saving cap space for? Every year it's the same thing.
Exactly. There's no. Who would you have liked them to sign this offseason?
Me, if I had to choose, I want, you know, since DeMar DeRozan is still available, I would go after DeMar DeRozan. I would pay him, you know, $28 million, whatever it is. To me, I think he's that much of a difference maker for this team. You can give him the ball at the end of the game, take the ball out of Randall's hands. He can be that wing. He can facilitate. I will go after him. He's the only person left, to be honest. Not if you look at it that way.
But even in the beginning, who would you? I don't have a problem with DeRozan. Who would you have went after? I'm sorry, the call is still on.
$64 million for 3 years of Doug McDermott and Zach Collins. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I couldn't actually rationalize that if the Knicks actually did something like that.
Yeah, I agree. And that could have been us.
Yeah, I don't think you spend just to spend, though.
Right.
Well, I appreciate the call, bro. Sir?
I think he's gone.
Okay.
He's gone.
Steph, to answer your question, like I said, like I pointed out during the when we did our roster build or whatever, Furkan Korkmaz was someone that I definitely was interested in. Carmelo Anthony, someone that I'm interested in. And DeMar DeRozan, players like that, they can move the needle. You're going to pay for them but at the same time, I feel like they get you a little bit closer, and you don't have to tie up all of your cap space to players like that. You know what I mean? The Knicks will still have a lot. Well, prior to the moves
Those
they already
players are
made.
still out there.
Well, let's
Except
see. Let's
for
see.
Koopmans.
Right. Well, let's see if the Knicks are actually going to make that move. But if I'm thinking, based on the last couple seasons, the Knicks are just going to kind of stay put and run it back. And to me, that's not the right answer. Not with Miami getting better in Chicago.
Well,
But I think the Knicks have a plan.
We can't just run it back because Bullock's off the board, and we still need a replacement for Alfred. And please don't tell me he's coming back. Like that I don't.
No,
I was gonna say I was gonna say because I was watching the Nothing But Knicks last night, and a lot of people were saying goodbye to Frank because the Knicks didn't pick up his $18 million money. Frank can come back next season because he's unrestricted. He just won't make $18 million. That would give him a significant pay cut, similar to what the Knicks did with Elfrid Payton the previous season. He was a free agent. The Knicks didn't, sign him or whatever the case may be. And it was like, you know what, we can't find any other point guards out there. So we're going to roll with you, Elfrid Payton, and run it back one more season for less money. So that's an option for Frank as well. I know fans don't want to hear that, but the way things are going right now, you want to play conservative and run it back, take Frank.
Frank didn't play, though. So Frank is not helping us.
I agree.
Have we heard anything about Carmelo yet?
Not yet, but the Lakers just signed Trevor Ariza. So that's another role player, bench player that the Lakers have.
And that sounds like, I guess he's more of a 3 than a 4, but yeah. I was watching Brian, what's his name? Windhorst, and he's saying the Lakers are gonna have 10 veteran minimum contracts on their roster, considering those 3 guys make $120 million alone. That's nuts. Like,
they'll still be a finals contender. They'll still contend. They got 3 big contracts. Most NBA rosters, most of the winning NBA rosters have most of their money tied up to 3 players, but they're still able to build a team around those players and still get somewhere and then be decent in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's a foreign concept to pay, have most of the cap tied up to 3 players. And, it's possible. Teams are doing it every day. Teams are, out there in the playoffs winning games. So,
Yeah. I mean, I know ideally that's where you want us to reach, that status of having 3 all-stars or superstars and then filling the roster out. But you got to take baby steps to get there. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, even when the Heat did it, they had a guy there already. You know what I mean? They brought 2 in, even though he was a free agent and re-signed. It was easier to do that. That's a tough task to handle.
And you got to wonder if any of these guys wanted to come to New York. It sounds like Lowry didn't want to come here. He wanted to go to Miami. And I think, we could talk about it more, on Queen's Court, because that's one of my questions, or maybe we can get into it here. I don't think the Knicks have changed. One of the things was, the Knicks are going to start winning. Free agents are going to want to come here. Well, the Knicks started winning, and they made the 4th seed in the playoffs. And I don't think any of those guys wanted to come here. Lowry could have signed with the Knicks if he wanted to. The Knicks were interested in him. He chose Miami. As a lot of these guys, Chris Paul was a free agent. If he wanted to, he could have came to New York. I get it. He decided to run it back, with Phoenix to because they were close to see if, they can possibly win this year. But the point I'm trying to make is I don't think the Knicks profile has risen. And that's my concern, to the point where free agents want to come to the Knicks.
Well, let me ask. Go ahead, Tony.
I think the profile has risen. I think the problem was everybody knew we were this year, this offseason right now, it's still almost like a rebuild. You know what I mean? Because we only had 6 players on the roster. So even if we had Lowry interested or Chris Paul interested, that it wasn't a complete team, even just bringing them in. You know what I mean? There was still work to be. There was still work to be done.
But what I'm trying to say is how go ahead.
You gotta be in a position where, all right, you won last year, or you did, you know what I mean? You did good last year, and this year, maybe some of these guys are under contract. Maybe the team is not still in a rebuild type situation. That's why I like bringing these guys back, because even if it takes another year, but we have continued success. We don't get the 4th seed, we get the 5th seed, but we win a round. That's a better outcome than last year. Then we're in a position where, all right, now these guys show something. The first year wasn't a fluke. They kept that chemistry. They kept those guys and brought them back to show what they could do. All this stuff is still on the table for the future. But I think it's harder to do that when you only have 6 guys in. Making one signing is going to take up 3.
I think it's easier. Think about where Miami.
If 2 guys agree to come in
together, but that's what I'm trying to say. That is on the table. I just don't think the Knicks that would have been on the table. I read, and I could be wrong, that Lowry was looking for a place where him and DeRozan can go together and play. They could have did that on the Knicks.
That's what I wanted.
That's what Kyrie and K did. They looked for a team that had the cap space so they could play together. So one of my concerns is the Knicks profile is still not high enough where free agents see it as a destination. And I just think that we had the cap space. 2 people, just like Kawhi said to call Paul George, listen, I want to go to the Clippers. Do you want to come with me? Force a trade, whatever. The Knicks are just not there yet. And that's my concern. We have the money. I'm not even sure we can give it away. And I'm not sure how much of that is the Knicks not being aggressive. I just think our profile is not at that point. Now, it could be people maybe not wanting to play with Randall. It could be maybe Tibbs is too hard-nosed. Maybe we don't have a track record. They don't really know what we're doing. I just don't think we're at that place where we can attract free agents, and I'm concerned about that.
So Steph, let me ask you a rhetorical question. What do you think it would take in order for us to be there at that place that you're talking about?
I think somebody has to take a chance on us. I think a free agent has to, or trade for a free agent. Or trade, but you got to have a willing partner, Josh. You can't just look and say, oh, I want Cat. Let me go get him.
But here's my logic, though, Steph, and I agree with where you're coming from. The Knicks have cap space and they have draft assets. There's plenty of teams around the NBA that would take on some draft picks and allow us, as with a team with a lot of cap space, to use us to be able to get a player off their books. There's a ton of teams. I can name 5 now.
Right, but which player are they trying to get off their books?
It could be a disgruntled player. There's plenty of disgruntled players.
But that's what I'm trying to say. We're talking in hypotheticals.
Yeah,
until we just say that Cat was available and the Knicks didn't go and get him, now we're talking about something that actually happened. We're talking in hypotheticals. We don't know who's available. We don't know if the Knicks are not trying to do that. We don't know if the Knicks are not trying to be aggressive. I haven't heard that Beal is available, Cat is available. I haven't even heard Fox is available, given that they drafted Davion Mitchell. I haven't heard any rumors that these guys are available and the Knicks are not going after them.
Westbrook was available.
I'm not.
No. Hold on. No, I'm not lobbying for Russell Westbrook.
Got to be the right fit. It has to be the right fit.
I got you. And I'm not lobbying for Russell Westbrook. What I'm saying is, there's other teams out there that was able to make a trade for a player that I don't care what anybody says. Russell Westbrook makes this team better, 100%. He takes his team to the next level, right? The Knicks somehow didn't make that move. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't value him. They didn't value him. That's why they didn't make that. That's why they didn't make that move. I'm sure they had it. I'm sure they thought about it. They may have discussed it.
Maybe not. But again, the players are out there. I just refuse to think that there's no player available and that there's nobody available.
That's going to move the needle. That's going to move the needle.
Yeah. I just don't agree with that.
Eru, welcome to the show, my brother.
Hey, what's up, guys? I haven't seen you guys in a while, man. I haven't been on the show.
I know. How are you?
I'm cool, man. I'm on vacation.
You still on vacation?
Yeah, I had 25 days vacation, man. So I'm gonna try to jump on as much as I can. Yeah, man. I freaking nice. Man, I'm listening to my man here. Uncle Fulio the man, the myth, the legend. But
You my dog.
Yeah, man. I'm with you with a lot of points where we need to like spend the money to get better and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm so relieved that we didn't get anybody. I'm so relieved that Lonzo Ball is off of our board. We don't got to talk about him no more. He's playing for Chicago. I'm so relieved that Frank Ntilikina is not on the roster anymore for the moment. Because I mean, we could probably still use him maybe in a trade if that's even possible. But that's more how I'm looking at it now. I didn't feel no like anger or animosity or just frustration or anything like that. I just feel, if anything, I feel relief that we just didn't do nothing stupid. Something that's gonna put more like water on these narratives that the fans keep talking about. Like Lonzo Ball is gonna get you to the championship. We don't have an attacking guard to play with him. You know what I'm saying? The Bulls do. So God bless him playing with the Chicago Bulls. They're not gonna even the way that if we run it back, we still could beat the Bulls. So I'm not afraid of them. But I mean, when it comes to their career, let them do what they're gonna do. So some of these other teams too, like Lowry never wanted to come to the Knicks. He said something nice about Tibbs, but when it comes out now, it said that he wanted to play with my man there, what's his name, Butler, Jimmy Butler. He wanted to play with Jimmy Butler. So okay, cool, go play with Jimmy Butler. But look, you guys are old over there. You guys are declining. You got Bam Adebayo. I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of none of y'all. Go do what you got to do. Go max up your cap and stuff like that. And Knicks, all we did was sign Burke and we signed Noel. There's a chance we might sign other players. Man, let's run it back. You guys ain't scaring me. I'm chilling.
I agree. The top teams are still the same top teams. Granted, some of these
the Knicks
teams,
won't be one of them.
I mean, were we supposed to be a 4th seed this year?
No, I think it's going to be even more than that. The drop could be even further.
I mean, I've been saying that since before we made any move. I knew that was a option. I mean, a possibility. I think we did overachieve, but I think we could do it again. I trust in Tibbs. I trust in his system. I trust in the defense.
We need offense.
So we do. Some things are gonna have to go right during the way. Maybe some of these draft picks pan out and show that they ready now. And I'm not relying on it, but that might happen. You never know.
So, what do you guys think about the offense thing? Like, I heard you guys mention DeRozan. I think maybe Julio. Josh mentioned DeRozan. Fournier's out there too. Knicks Fan TV. Announced him like 4 hours ago, but he still didn't sign with us. So there's all these rumors are out here. So, what do you guys think about these type of players? Like, are they like gonna be able to move the needle?
I think we all agree on DeRozan. I think if we got DeRozan, I think we did get better.
Right.
Even with his shooting efficiencies, he still averaged 21 points. He still averaged 7 assists. So I think we all agree that we would happily accept that signing.
Right.
Now,
that's an upgrade.
We ain't got no choice.
And that's what I was just about to say. I don't know. I would have, but I don't know if they would have, and maybe you can answer. If that was the first announced signing and it happened at 6 p.m., I don't know how they would have felt, but I would have been fine with it if it was announced at 6 p.m. and if it's announced tomorrow, I'll be happy with it.
So, assuming that the Knicks get a starting wing, do y'all think that Grimes gets some burn?
I think it's possibility. I think it's more likely he gets some playing time than McBride. Granted, that's if we bring in some type of veteran point guard. If we don't, we have no choice but for him to get some minutes.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Burks and Bullock played out. No, Bullock played out the first unit. Burke might be. We don't get anybody. Burke might be playing. And if that's the case, he will get burned on the second unit.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about that? What do you think about Burke starting at the shooting guard?
At the 2?
Yeah, and then let me throw this at you too. Freaking Emmanuel quickly is the point guard. Just to save money. The Knicks saving money. Same thing like they did last year. Sign a couple guys.
Money, yeah, bring me Sexton.
We got enough money though. I don't know if we need more money.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
Yeah, I think the Knicks are playing Dollar Tree basketball right now.
That's from a 99-cent store. They shopping at the 99-cent store. I'm telling y'all.
Bring me Sexton.
But I think that's because I think it's still early. The players that are off the board, I have no problems with the Knicks not signing them that type of money. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with DeRozan. Let's see what happens with Dinwiddie and what have you. Let's see. I don't think we should just go out. The player has to be of value. You can't go out and give Dinwiddie $40 million, right? I mean, it has to what you give them has to match their talent.
$40 million a year?
No,
right?
I mean like altogether.
No, I meant I'm trying to be funny, but like $40 million. Like the what you pay them has to match their talent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I want to give him 20 coming off of that injury, and it's not the first one.
Overpay though.
It's the second injury. So I mean, honestly, you and Josh are more in agreement than some.
We usually are. I think he's just much more aggressive than me. I think I want to get the same place he wants to get to. I do think the Knicks need to sign. They need to upgrade these rosters. I don't think I would not have signed Burke and Noel. I'm just saying I don't think I would have paid Paul $30 million to come here. I don't think I would have paid Robinson $90 million. I just don't think I would have paid that type of money for those guys. So I just feel like if the guys are not there that warrant that type of money, I don't think you should play them. And go ahead.
So you would pay Kyle Lowry $30 million, but you wouldn't pay Chris Paul $30 million a year.
I just think, that's a very good question. And I would say that even with Lowry, I would not have given him a 3-year deal. I would have given him a 2-year deal. And if he didn't want it, that would have been the end of that. I wouldn't have gave him 3 years, $90 million. And Chris Paul,
he got 4,
not
right?
at 36, a 4-year, $120. I would not have done it. And I wouldn't have done the Lowry deal either. At 3 years, $30 million.
That's what me and Steph defer, because I definitely will pay that money. These guys are, to me, they're worth it. At their age and everything like that, they're worth it. They take you to the next level. And,
but what's the next level with this roster? We got
to me, the next level is
a playoff win, a playoff series win.
Or 2.
I mean, at least with 1, but yeah, or 2.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at that either, but I mean, I'm also not mad that it didn't happen. I mean, it's a waiting game now. You know what I mean? We got to see how we upgrade this point guard position, which again shouldn't be that difficult considering, but that wing position now, because Bullock did bring a significant value on the defensive end. We missed him when he was out. Like, my only issue with him is he didn't have that same production in the playoffs. But even his playoff series, we seen that in him during the season in stints. You know what I mean? So I wasn't that discouraged in it because it happened before. It just wasn't a playoff series. It was a stretch during the regular season. So had we if it wasn't him, if Randall showed up, maybe we win the series. Maybe the next series Bullock regains his form. But again, it's really about just upgrading those 2 positions right now. And I don't think we're going to be far removed from who we were last year. I'll say who rather than where, because I don't think we'll get 4th seed again. But
how about some names?
I'm not for Dinwiddie. I'll tell you that right now.
Schroeder's out there.
Schroeder. I'm not mad at Sexton. Who else is out there?
But a guy like Sexton, we have to trade for him. He's not a free agent. So, how will we give? Because Kevin Knox is the only guy that we would get rid of. And then we already drafted our players. So it seems like we're keeping the draft players that we have.
I'd rather give up a pick than Obi, but
we got too many picks. We got too many picks.
Either way, I'm not mad.
So y'all would do Knox and Obi, say for Sexton?
Yep.
I'll do Knox in the pick. I'll hold on to Obi. Knox in the pick.
I'd rather hold Obi, but
they're not taking Knox in a pick.
No,
actually,
well, no, I wouldn't give up first round.
They're not. The asking price is higher.
I do Knox, the Dallas pick, and whatever first round pick we just acquired in the draft, because both of those picks are heavily protected. They're not our own, so I would definitely
But you got to think about it. That's valuable for us. But do they want two heavily protected picks in Kevin Knox?
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what I mean? That's great for us.
Right
but
now,
we got to think about the other team. I don't want a heavily protected pick in Knox for Sexton.
Right now, they're risking losing him for nothing anyway.
They'll be able to get something for him better than that from anybody.
Again, so if they want to play the waiting game, we wait. But I mean, that would be my starting offer.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they got Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen also too. So getting what does Obi do for them over there? Because they still got other big men that play decently over there.
That's true.
Let me see how many future draft picks they have, because that's our leverage. The fact that we have so many draft picks.
We have all of our own and the Dallas one and whatever one we just picked up.
Right. Let's see. Cleveland. So Cavaliers don't have anything extra the next couple of years. They don't have anything extra. So the incentive for them will be to take some more picks and continue to build younger while getting rid of Sexton. And then you bring back an athletic Kevin Knox. So that's the incentive for them. So, yes, I think it would consider taking back some draft picks. For Colin Sexton on an expiring deal, who they think is going to be leaving anyway, why wouldn't they take that?
He has value other than us as well. So they're going to weigh what they can get from us and what they can get from other teams as well.
I mean, I
don't know if that would be the best offer on the table for them for Sexton.
I mean, so your question theoretically is, what is our best offer for Sexton? How far are we willing to go? I mean, I don't know if the protected picks. I don't know if the protected picks are any better than our own. Whether you know what I mean, like if it's our pick as opposed to
the way this team is shaping up, yeah, it will be.
I mean, there's no guarantee. I mean, we didn't think we would be as good as we were last year. Why can't we essentially be as good again?
Because the other teams are getting better.
That's what we said all year last year. That's exactly what we said all year last year. We talked about the other teams and how good they were, and we ended up better than them.
We did, but it took
what's the point of free agency, Tone?
What's that?
What's the point of free agency? What's the point of free agency then? Let's just bring everybody back from the Knicks last season. Let's just keep riding with it. Let's just do it. Why not?
And that team had holes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we got that 4th seed, but part of it was a 10-game winning streak down the stretch. And then a 3-game winning streak the last 3 games, because when we lost to the Lakers, that moved us into 6. Yeah. We had to win 3 straight to get back into 4th. And then against Atlanta, we saw the holes. So running it back with a flawed team, you know, we're gonna have to upgrade. We're gonna upgrade the point guard position. That's gonna help us. We need a wing. I don't know if Burke is it.
I get again, like I said, it's just a waiting game at this point.
Yo, speaking of Elfrid Payton, man, Elfrid Payton averaged 18-6 and 18. I want to say 6 and 4 in that first winning streak that we had. We was 5-1 in the beginning of the year where we started off when we beat Milwaukee Bucks. So we're gonna run it back. We got to bring it back too, right?
No. With that, we established that before you got on. It's going to be an upgrade at the point guard position at the very least. We know that. It's really about what we do with this at this wing spot right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully whoever it is starting caliber and I'm hoping at Julius's level or above. I think we all agree with that. But so
with Sexton too.
I'm not mad with Noel's coming back, and I'm not mad with Burks coming back.
I want to point out with the Cleveland Cavaliers too. They got Isaac Okoro too. So what they doing with Knox? You know, and they still got the other kid, you know, not the other kid. What's the European dude? They still got these guys on the contract. You know, so Knox is going to go over there just to sit on the bench like he's sitting over here.
Yeah, possible, maybe.
I didn't mean to burst the bubble, man. But I want Sexton more than I really want Sexton. Sexton, I think would be perfect here. You know, the respect factor too, just for him being on his own stage and just finally getting people to see him on the national stage will be great for his career and also for the Knicks too, man. But you know, as time goes on, I just really can't see how we're gonna get him.
Are you giving up more than 2 picks for him?
I mean, if Knox or Obi Toppin are on you know, we probably are gonna have to give two picks for that.
No, I'm saying, are you doing more than 2? Because I'm willing to do 2.
I think two is the max for that. You know, 2 is the max.
Steph,
But
I mean, if they ask for, if we're not giving up any players, and then they ask for 3 picks, the Dallas pick, the Charlotte pick, and one of our own. I mean, people were complaining that somebody said in the chat, we complaining that the picks are trash. They heavily protected. Now they valuable. We don't want to give them up.
Shout out to Charlotte. Shout out to that Charlotte pick, right?
Because even Dame, I think Dame is going to cost us 5 or 6. Like we get Dame, we're going to be no draft picks for however many years we could go without him. And that may be the reason why well, it's true in a sense, because whatever year, if we trade our own, we can't do consecutive. Right. But with these extra picks, now we could do 4 years in a row because 2 of them won't be our own. You know what I mean?
And we'll still have some picks though. We'll still have.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have 2 out of 6, or 4 out of 6. We'll probably have to give up 4, 2 of our own, the 2 restricteds that aren't ours, but that might be in 4 consecutive years. You know what I mean? And we'll have 2 of our own in the next 4 years, which again, I'm not mad at that. But we're also going to have to give back some salary. And
all right, here's an announcement. The Knicks got Fournier. It's official now. 4 years, $78 million.
4 years,
78. It went up. It went up. It went up.
Holy moly! Great googly moogly.
we all bruised.
Oh yeah, I gotta whip out my calculator.
Okay, so
I guess I should
just under 20.
Maybe we could talk about that on the Queen's Court. I'm gonna log off.
All right.
Right? Is that what I need to do?
Yep.
Okay. And then I'll see you guys on the other side.
Bye, Steph. Good to see you.
All right, same here.
Wow, 4 years, 78 million. The deal includes a team option on the fourth year.
God bless.
All right. I mean,
so okay.
Now we talking.
So that throws out the window the fact that they want to save cap space because they just locked up 4 years of their cap space for $20 million on Evan Fournier. So that theory about the Knicks trying to save cap space for whatever has to be out the window. They can't be this foolish.
I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not worth the 18 or 19. I think it is
4 years though.
That's cap filler in the trade, Josh. That's 18, 19 million of salary that goes towards Dame's contract. But the scary part is I don't know where we go at this point.
Well, we got $15 million now, man. So what do you think about Oubre? You think he's the next one?
No, we need a point.
Dennis Schroeder. That's what I think. I think it's gonna be Dennis Schroeder.
Yo, shout out to Julito. Julito is on suicide watch right now, man. Because he predicted that. He said Schroeder and Fournier. That can't be what we spend the money on. He said that I want to say maybe a few hours ago. He said that, and then look, that thing might happen. But yo, what do you think about Quickly though?
Is there a better option than Schroeder right now?
Quickly, what do you think about Quickly?
I mean, he's on the team. If he earn it, he earn it.
Well, that's the thing I keep thinking about too. We draft guys and say, "Oh, this is the guy. Oh, he's really good. Okay, cool." But nah, man, he's Lou Williams. He's not good. You know this. We got to get another draft. Get us another draft pick, and he's going to be the one that's going to be that guy. So why can't it be Emmanuel Quickly? Emmanuel Quickly for his 36 minutes, stats is decent. 20-something points and maybe 3 assists a game for his 36 points. 36-minute stats, whatever. So, granted, if he was given a little bit of minutes, maybe he might be able to get starters, stats and stuff, to hold that position down.
it could I mean he could be a starter, but he's gonna have to earn it. I'm not giving it to him.
Yeah, I don't think it's kind of hard because I mean the great Frank Ntilikina is not on the roster anymore, and then Elfrid Payton is not there to to be the politic thing with Knicks fans say, oh, Tibbs don't trust the young people. No, none of those guys are here. So Emmanuel Quickly's stage is set for him to take that spot. There's nobody there. There's only rookies and foreign players behind him at the moment.
And we're taking a hit defensively right now. You know, like putting starting quickly and replacing Bullock with Fournier. We taking a hit defensively.
Yeah, it sounded fun until you said defense. Now it's not so fun.
Yeah, I think McBride might be better suited at this particular moment. I mean, and I'm saying that without ever seeing him play in the NBA, obviously. So, oh man,
4 years
tough.
for Evan Fournier. 4 years.
4 years. Three guaranteed.
As your starting what? Shooting guard or small forward now?
I mean, this tells me they believe in RJ. That's what this tells me. They believe in RJ's defensive ability.
Oh man.
And,
it's kind of yucky. I mean, but he did average 17 points he did average 17 points a game the last 3 years. Excuse me, last 5 years. 3 assists, 3 rebounds, that type of thing. He lost all his hair. Something weird is going on with his hip too. He's not really having the greatest Olympics at the moment. So there's a lot of question marks with his game. But if he can get close to 17 and 3 and 3, as a starter for us, that's decent, man. No matter who it is. What do you think?
I mean, we're gonna need it. This is I mean, the chat saying he's way better than Bullock. Offensively, yes. Defensively, and he's not a bad defender. I just don't think he's suited to take on the responsibility of guarding the best offensive player on the other team. And I think now that role is going to fall to RJ.
I'm just trying to figure out all the ways, like all the real optimistic Knicks fans are going to try to defend this move.
You see them in the chat, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking like, oh, well, this is.
Well, can I give you one? In Atlanta, one of those games, I think Reggie Bullock played like 30-something minutes and had donuts. He had 0. He plays defense, but at that moment, like we actually needed somebody to score, not necessarily somebody to be locked down. Because who was he guarding, really?
And that's the thing. Even with his defense, it's not like he could stop Trey. It's not like he could stop Bogdanovic. Like he couldn't stop anybody. So his calling card wasn't even there in the playoffs.
So we're gonna judge players off of one playoff series. Sometimes it's about matchups. It's very, to me, it's just very non-productive to judge players off of one playoff series because next year they can play against a different team and it can be a different kind of playoff series where the matchups are different.
No, I agree. That was a bad. Look, the whole Hawks was a bad matchup for us. The whole team. It was a bad matchup from point guard to center. I agree with that. But we needed offense in that particular series. We needed somebody who could create on his own, especially with Julius struggling and not being able to create.
Do you think Fournier would have made a difference if we had Fournier instead of Bullock?
In that series, I absolutely do.
As an addition, but not without Bullock. As an addition, I wanted him at the deadline.
In that series, I think he would have made a difference, even without Bullock, because Bullock's strengths weren't effective at that particular time. That's why I say that. But again, I just feel like this is us putting the ball in RJ's court as far as defensive responsibilities.
Okay, we got Dave Rose back, 3 years, $43 million. So that's the money.
That is.
Have we upgraded?
I don't know, man.
No.
Oh, Lord help me.
No, this is not an upgraded roster. This is not an upgraded roster, bro. Please don't try. Oh my! I'm
I
going
mean,
in.
it's essentially all we did was trade Bullock for Fournier.
Yeah, that's a good trade though.
Yeah,
I mean,
and basically
it's-
got rid of Peyton. Didn't even get nobody back.
oh my god, what did Dallas sign him for? I'm trying to scroll through this contracts and stuff.
He got 15 per.
15 per.
Oh
Yeah.
man, we gotta call him up and say, yo, change that to a sign and trade. They got an extra point guard over there, right?
Yeah.
Even if they don't want to
Holy moly.
Jeez.
Great googly moogly. So is Rose our starting point guard?
We got to make the Sexton move. We have to. That's the only way this ends up being an upgrade.
But now we got a lot of guards. Now we got Fournier, we got Burks back now, and now Derrick Rose, man, quickly still here. Miles McBride and Grimes too. That's a lot of guards there.
No, for sure. Oh man,
Holy
this is
moly.
nuts.
Holy moly, man.
But yo, I appreciate you guys coming in. I'm about to jump on the Queen's Court after I go take a quick bathroom break. Shout out to the chat. Eru, appreciate you. Josh,
Yeah, no
appreciate
doubt.
you. Yo, Black, it's time. Catch you on the next show. We got a quadruple header tonight.
Okay, man. See
Salute.
you guys out there. So am I alone on the show? Because I think Sim is the one that's hosting the thing, right? So I think I'm by myself. What's up, y'all? How you guys doing? I don't think the Knicks really upgraded too much, man. Fournier, I guess he's the starting shooting guard because I like RJ at the 3. I don't know. Did we get better? I guess time will tell, man. But I know some people that I do podcasts with not gonna be very helpful. I'm very happy about this, man. So anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys later. You might see me sometime tonight too, man, talking about some Knicks, man. So this is Eru out. See you guys on the next one.
Yes, sir.
Peace, my brother.
Give me the link.
Yeah, definitely. All right, peace.